What if death itself handed you a death sentence, but you refused to accept it? A plane crash, a meteorite, an atomic bomb. 6 ordinary people stared into the abyss and lived. How? This is the story of the impossible. Most of our lives follow a predictable current, but for some, that current becomes a roaring tidal wave, a sudden, catastrophic event that rips away any sense of normal. These are the stories of 6 people who were met with unsurvivable circumstances. They were faced with what should have been the absolute certainty of their own end. Yet, when they stared into the abyss, they didn't just survive. They defied the odds in ways that still baffle experts today. On November 30th, 1954, Ann Hodges was napping on her living room couch in quiet Sylacauga, Alabama. Outside, the Cold War had people nervously eyeing the sky, but for Ann, the invasion was far more personal. Residents reported a brilliant reddish light streaking across the sky, followed by an explosion. Ann was jolted awake, not by a distant boom, but by a sudden, violent pain in her side. In the dusty haze of her living room, she found a grapefruit-sized black rock, a gaping hole in her ceiling, and a massive, dark bruise forming on her hip. An 8.5-pound meteorite, a 4.5 billion-year-old traveler, had torn through her roof, bounced off her radio console, and struck her. Ann Hodges became the only confirmed person in history to be directly hit by a meteorite. The odds were astronomical. As one astronomer put it, you have a better chance of getting hit by a tornado and a bolt of lightning and a hurricane all at the same time. But the strangeness didn't end there. The rock, later dubbed the Hodges meteorite, sparked a bizarre legal battle between Ann and her landlady over its ownership. The media frenzy took a heavy toll on Ann, leading to a nervous breakdown. She came to believe the rock, a messenger from the cosmos, was a curse. Was it a random billion-to-1 event, or something else that chose her, spared her, and then shattered her life? On Christmas Eve, 1971, 17-year-old Juliane Koepcke and her mother boarded Lanza Flight 508 in Peru. About an hour into the flight, the plane flew into a massive thunderstorm and was struck by lightning. Juliane remembers the plane simply disintegrating around her. Still strapped to her seat, she was pulled out into the open air and began a horrifying 10,000-foot freefall into the heart of the Amazon rainforest. A fall from that height should have been instantly fatal. Yet, a series of miracles seemed to occur. Experts think her row of seats, spinning like a sycamore seed, may have slowed her descent, while the storm's powerful updrafts and the jungle's thick canopy cushioned the final impact. She awoke the next day on the jungle floor, alone, with a broken collarbone, a torn knee ligament, and other injuries. She was alive. For the next 11 days, she put the survival skills learned from her zoologist parents to use, following a small creek downstream. She battled insect bites and a festering botfly infestation in her arm wound. Finally, near death, she stumbled upon a small lumberjack camp and was rescued. In a cruel twist, it was later discovered that as many as 14 other passengers, including her mother, also survived the initial crash, but died in the jungle waiting for help. Juliane was the sole survivor. The question that haunted her for years was, why? In the wilderness of South Dakota in 1823, Hugh Glass was a frontiersman whose life was defined by hardship. While scouting ahead of his party, he surprised a mother grizzly bear with her cubs. The attack was swift and brutal. The bear tore his scalp, punctured his throat, and broke his leg before his companions could kill it. His injuries were so severe that no one expected him to live. The expedition leader asked 2 men, John Fitzgerald and a young Jim Bridger, to stay with Glass until he died and give him a proper burial. But after 5 days, with Glass clinging to life and the threat of an Arikara attack looming, they made a grim choice. They took his rifle and equipment, left him in a shallow grave, and fled. But Hugh Glass didn't die. He awoke alone, unarmed, and gravely wounded over 200 miles from the nearest settlement. Fueled by a burning desire for revenge, he began an impossible journey. He set his own broken leg and let maggots eat the infected flesh from his wounds to prevent gangrene. For 6 weeks, he crawled, stumbled, and dragged his broken body across hostile territory, surviving on berries and whatever else he could find. When he finally limped into Fort Kiowa, he had, for all intents and purposes, risen from the grave. What dark pact or inner demon allowed a man so thoroughly clawed by death to crawl his way back from hell? The will to survive is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. If you're finding these stories as incredible as we do, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss our next exploration into the limits of human endurance. On January 26, 1972, a 22-year-old Serbian flight attendant named Vesna Vulović was on Jati Flight 367, a trip she was never supposed to be on. As the plane flew over Czechoslovakia, a suspected bomb in the baggage compartment detonated, tearing the aircraft apart at 33,330 feet. That's over 6 miles high. As the cabin depressurized, passengers were sucked into the freezing air. But Vesna's fate was different. She was reportedly pinned to the rear of the fuselage by a food cart as a section of the broken plane plummeted toward a snow-covered mountainside. She holds the Guinness World Record for the highest fall survived without a parachute. Investigators believe her abnormally low blood pressure, a condition she'd hidden to pass her medical exam, caused her to pass out instantly, preventing her heart from bursting on impact. A villager who was a World War II medic found her and kept her alive. She awoke from a 27-day coma with a fractured skull, 2 broken legs, and temporary paralysis, but with zero memory of the fall. Was the terror of her 6-mile drop simply forgotten? Or was it erased by the same miracle that saved her? In 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton and his crew of 27 men set out to be the first to cross Antarctica on foot. They never even made it to the mainland. Their ship, the Endurance, became trapped in the dense pack ice of the Weddell Sea. For 10 months, the ship was a prisoner until the immense pressure of the ice finally crushed its hull, abandoning the crew to one of the most hostile environments on Earth. What followed was a masterclass in survival and leadership. For 5 months, the men camped on a drifting ice floe. When the ice broke up, they took to 3 small lifeboats and reached the desolate Elephant Island. But they were still hundreds of miles from any shipping lanes. Shackleton knew their only hope was an impossible gamble. He and 5 others set out in a tiny 22-foot lifeboat to cross 800 miles of the most treacherous ocean on the planet to reach a whaling station. Miraculously, they made it, but they had landed on the wrong side of the island and had to cross an unmapped mountain range to reach help. Shackleton immediately organized a rescue for the men left behind. On August 30th, 1916, every single man of the Endurance crew was saved. They endured starvation, frostbite, and despair, yet not a single life was lost from Shackleton's party. It was as if some unseen force had guided their leader and ensured that every last man lived. Surviving 1 atomic bomb is a miracle. Surviving 2 is unthinkable. But for Japanese marine engineer Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the unthinkable became his reality. On August 6, 1945, Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima on a business trip. He was less than 2 miles from the hypocenter when the Little Boy bomb detonated. The world flashed white, and he was thrown to the ground with ruptured eardrums and severe burns. The next day, he navigated a city of horrors to board a train back to his hometown, Nagasaki. He arrived home, wounded and bandaged, and reported for work on August 9th. He was in his office, describing the apocalypse in Hiroshima to his skeptical supervisor, when at 11:02 a.m., the sky over Nagasaki exploded. The Fat Man bomb had detonated, again just under 2 miles away. This time, he was thrown across the room, but wasn't seriously injured. Tsutomu Yamaguchi is the only person officially recognized by the Japanese government as having survived both atomic bombings. In his later years, he came to believe it was his destiny to speak out against nuclear weapons. He lived to the age of 93. Was Yamaguchi the luckiest man alive, spared twice from a man-made sun? Or was he a man destined to carry a message out of the fire? From the frozen wastes of Antarctica to the atomic ashes of Japan, these 6 people faced certain death. They stood against the crushing indifference of nature and the terrifying power of our own creations, and yet they endured. Their stories are a testament not just to luck, but to the unyielding will to live that burns inside the human spirit. a force that can stare into the abyss and refuse to blink. They prove that even when the odds are impossible, survival is not. Which of these stories will stay with you? Let us know in the comments. And for more incredible true stories, be sure to subscribe to Oddbound.